Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and this time we're going to look at a game called Great Swordsman, created by a company called Allumer and licensed to Taito in 1984. And this is kind of an interesting game. It features fencing, kendo, and gladiatorial combat all in one game. This was suggested by YouTube user PS Jedi 1. This game can get incredibly frustrating. There is a joystick, and you can use that to advance or retreat. And there are 3 buttons, and each controls height of attack, low, middle, or high. And if you tap the button, you can just do a little feint attack. But if you hold down the button, you can do a lunge attack that way. And it's really not for certain gamers that don't have a lot of patience. You really need to exploit this tight little window of attack that you have. You keep your distance from the enemy just barely, for where their sword or whatever will just barely miss you, and then you can counter that with an attack of your own, and you'll have a fair degree of success in this game with that. But we'll go ahead and get started in a moment. In this game, strangely enough, you can insert your initials at the very beginning. That was very unusual for 1984 arcade games. Well, that doesn't usually happen in arcade games, period. But we'll go ahead and get started. Here is fencing, and I'm facing Appel. And, yeah, there's just a slight little window. If you can keep yourself just like a millimeter out of their lunge range and a counter, then you can hit them just like that. Now in fencing, you need to get 5 points to win each match. You can strike each other at the same time, and you will both get a point. If you get forced off the mat, see, the opponent is trying to back me off the mat. If you get forced off the mat, then you will go again. But if you get forced off the mat again, you cede a point to the opponent. That was another example of me just staying barely out of the range of their lunge attack and then counterattacking. Notice the higher pitched voice. Now we both got a point. Notice the higher pitched voice of my fencer. I am a woman. Or at least that's what it certainly seems to be. When you beat all the other fencers, she removes her mask. She's got long flowing hair, so I'm assuming it's supposed to be a woman. But now we're facing a Redon. I think Redon is just supposed to be a name. I don't think it has any real meaning, nor does the next fencer, which is Fantin. But yeah, keep that in mind. Learn the lunge distance of your opponent and stay just a millimeter out of that. Back up and then do a lunge attack just like that. If you can perfect it, you can do a decent job in this game. Note the judges in the background. They look like Hitler. What is with that? They look like Hitler clones. And if you get perfect, you get a nice bonus. And you'll need those nice bonuses because you have to get at least 50,000 points to get on the high score list. Now this game is very frustrating at times because... Oh, there we both got a point. Because it often looks like you hit the opponent at the same time they hit you. Boy, he he fell asleep, didn't he? Was able to lunge and get him. But yeah, it can often look like you hit each other at the same time, but they give the point to the other player, which is lame-o. There we hit each other again. But again, just tapping a button will just do a yeah, they gave it to him again. They gave that point to him when it looked like we both hit each other at the same time. And he fell asleep there. I lucked out. But yeah, remember to keep that little tiny bit of distance. Know how far he reaches out with his sword. Just stay. See, it looks like a woman. And they say, you are Master Swordsman. Why didn't they say Great Swordsman, which is the title of the game? Now we've got a bonus stage, and you have to block all these arrows with your épée. I think is that how it's pronounced? Épée, I think. But just press the buttons to switch between down, middle, and up. And if you go around, then the archer gets closer. I think you do 3 rounds, and then you get a big bonus. I didn't make it through the second. And now we go to Japan for Kendo. Now this is much harder. Your Kendo swords have much more limited range. You have to face 5 opponents now. And the first one to get to only 2 points wins. Whoops, I backed up off the mat. That's a warning. And again, you will get you will lose if or you will lose a point. Cede a point to the opponent if you step off the mat twice. The opponent tries to back you up off the mat by charging at you. But yeah, like I said, there are 5 Kendo opponents. After you beat all the Kendo opponents, you will go to the Roman Gladitorial stage, and you will face, I think it's like 7 Roman gladiators, and they all have Roman or Greek god names. Knocked off my my mask. You can get your mask knocked off, or knock off their mask to reveal their face. Or sometimes you can deliver a lower blow and send him spinning backwards. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I won 2-1 that time. Now I go up against Chuken. There's like a Senpou, Jihou, Chuken, Fukusho, and Taisho as your opponents. But yeah, it doesn't seem to work as well against Kendo, the stay back X amount of distance strategy and then strike, just because the Kendo swords are so damn short. Oh, there I sent him spinning backwards. But it looks like there's skeletons that are the judges now. Yeah, in the first fencing part, it looked like Hitler's were the judges. Very odd. And now we face Fukusho. But yeah, I can't really give you a detailed strategy guide on. Whoops, I got backed up off the mat. like I said, the strategy for at least some success. Damn it, I ceded a point to Fukusho. The strategy that brings you at least some success in fencing doesn't really apply so much here. The distance strategy. Yeah, the swords are so short. That sucks. It looks like we both hit each other, but they give a point to him. Yeah, kiss my ass. Yeah, that's my game. I will show you glimpses of the Roman Gladiator combat. And the two other fighters that I didn't get to yet. Or the one other fighter I didn't get to in Kendo. Now here's what it looks like if you beat 3 rounds of the arrows. You stab him and you get a huge bonus. A couple of bonuses. You get 30,000 and then I think another 10,000. Yep, victory. That's what it looks like when you beat like 3 rounds of arrows. And there is Taisho. And then there is the second bonus round, and you're in Kendo gear, blocking arrows. And here's a little look at the Roman Gladiator fight, and only 1 point will win. So be extra careful, and you move extra slow with your thrusts. The first opponent was Mars, and then Hermes, and then Apollo, and then Helios, and then Orion, and then Uranus, and then Zeus. And when you beat Zeus, you've beaten the game, but then you start everything over with increased speed. Yeah, remember that distance trick. Learn that little tiny millimeter of space that you have. Stay just out of his thrust and then counter. You can do fairly well in this game. This time it looked like I was a guy. My hair's much shorter. Well, the block thrust high, low, medium, or mid is similar to a later game by Allumer and Taito called Gladiator in 1986. And like I said, you start everything over with much increased speed. See? Wow. Much faster. Well, that was Great Swordsman by Allumer and Taito in 1984. This has the Romstar name on the cabinet, but it didn't really make the game. Well, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later with another video. Bye, folks.